everyone. We are back. This is episode 35, Half the Story Podcast. I am your host, Andrew. Welcome back. Welcome home. C'est la vie, whatever you want to say. But greetings. Hope y'all are doing good and hanging in there on this beautiful Thursday. That is March 3rd. Update on my current state of health, kind of my state of the Andrew address. I am feeling better. Like I said earlier, I was doing steroids, and a bunch of stuff in there. Had a kink in my neck, and it was more than kind of a kink than you're kind of used to at my age. I'm not going to say it was life changing in any ways, but it's definitely life altering in the sense that I'm still thinking about it here almost 20 days later. So feeling and doing a lot better. I'm sleeping a little bit more. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are getting there, and we're excited to be back in studio today. So, what's kind of been going on in the world? I've just been thinking a lot. We've been watching a new chef show recently, me and Chris. I think it's called... I can't even remember the name right now, and she's watching it right now. Level Up Chef, or what's it called? It's gonna bug me now. It's like, so the premise of the show is there's 3 different levels. Level Chef. It's called Next Level Chef. I've only watched most of it, but yeah, so it's a kind of a good show if you like cooking shows and things like that. The premise is there's 3 different levels, like a grungy kitchen, a regular kitchen, and then like a nice kitchen. And they have to cook on the different levels and like go up and down, depending on how good their dish is. And someone wins money at the end. But it's a pretty good show if you haven't seen it, if you're into cooking shows and stuff like that, which we're kind of into, me and my wife. But yeah, so the Ukraine-Russia stuff is still going on, still happening over in that neck of the woods. And this week, Joe Biden gave his State of the Union address, which I didn't even realize was this week until I popped on the TV and it was on there, and I was halfway through it. So, I caught the tail, the last half of it, which it was pretty good, I guess. I haven't watched the State of the Union address in a while. I don't think they're on every week or two, but the thing I noticed. A couple of things I noticed actually was, and I like Joe Biden, finger guns and everything, and aviator glasses, and here's the deal. I'm a fan of his, but he doesn't look good when he talks. And sometimes he doesn't sound good, and we all know that, people make fun of him, saying he's old or he has dementia, things like that, which, we're not doctors, but, when you get old, things kind of slow down, including our brains. And, yeah, I went to go get a couple copies done today at Office Max, and I was doing my copies, and you just put a USB in the copy machine, and it says, do you want to make a copy? Yes, black and white, or colored, or like, how many copies you want. Pretty simple, pretty simple. But then there was this older couple, and they're like probably 60s, who came in like a couple minutes after me. and ask the guy at the counter, like, hey, can you show us how to use this thing, this extraterrestrial, life cycle that is a copy machine. And the guy comes over to them and it's like, yeah, you just have to, or do you have a USB? They're like, no. They're like, someone emailed us this thing that we want to print. And the guy's like, all right, all you have to do is, like, there's a big sign right in front of the copy machine. It says, email your file to, Office Max copier number 3 at gmail.com or whatever it was. And then it'll send you a code back, and you put the code into the copy machine, and then it'll print whatever you send it, or something like that. It was like maybe a 2 or 3 step deal, kind of thing, with technology. And I was kind of taking my time copying because I wanted to see, would they do it? Would it work for them? Luckily the paper that I needed was out on my copy machine, so I had to go wait at the desk and to get them to refill the paper. So that bought me a little extra time. But this wife and this husband were like trying to figure it out, and they were like on their phones and stuff. And they're like, I sent the code like 3 times, and like the wife's like, well, just put it in. And then they were like arguing, and she's like, I don't know how to do this. And she started swearing, and she's like fed up, and like they're both like, we don't know how to. And then they kind of did the thing where they're like looking around to see if anyone would help them, like anybody in the store or anything like that. And then no one was like coming to their rescue. And like the husband's like, okay, we'll put the email in, we'll send it, and the code will come back. We can just put the code in, like they said, and like it'll print. And like he tried to do it again, and or she was doing it, and he was like telling her how to do it, and it like wasn't working again. And he's like, and then they started bickering, and he's like, I'm just gonna go sit in this car. I'm gonna go sit in the car. And she was like, fuck this. I'm gonna go sit in the car, and you can figure it out. And she was like, no, you're staying here with me. And I don't know why I started talking about it, but when you get older, technology gets harder. And I think I was talking about Joe Biden and the State of the Union. So a couple of things, when you get old and you're a president, I mean, that's a lot of work to be that old and a president. And I think what I'm trying to get at is these 2 older couples, or this older couple, couldn't figure out how to print from an email address. And Joe Biden is given a State of the Union address and running a whole country. And I know one's not, harder than the other. But it's just interesting to see, to think about how I always say, like, there's some CEOs out there, or some people, getting paid $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year who don't know how to export a PDF file or, open a slideshow. But yet there's these young people that can do everything in the world. And I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I just think it's funny sometimes, getting old and stuff. And I talk to a lot of old people, and I got a lot in common with them too. So I'm not dogging on anybody or anything, but so I watched the State of the Union address, or I caught the second half of it. So yeah, Biden's getting older, and like, also Biden, when he is always talking and stuff, he looks like, have you ever like gone on a drive, or like got off work and like taken a different car or something like that? Or maybe, for whatever reason, you don't have your sunglasses with you, and you're driving, and like the sun is setting, and you're driving into the sun. And I think the sun sets on the west, so you're driving straight west, and the sun is setting, and it's just like you can't even see out the windshield, and then you forgot your sunglasses too. So you're kind of like, and if you can't see me on the video, you're like squinting like as hard as you can, and like you're squinting so hard that your eyelids could hold a piece of paper, like they're barely open enough just to slide a piece of paper through. But that's what Biden looks like sometimes when he's talking, or like maybe like a lot of wind, like his face has been in a lot of wind, and sun at the same time. So it's like windshield burn plus sunburn in his eyes. So that's what I was thinking about when he was talking a lot. And he brought up a lot of good points with the State of the Union. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. And, I like the guy a lot. I like my mom. I can make fun of her too. I'm really happy he's president. But, yeah, it's kind of weird watching it and seeing like, every time Biden would say like kind of something like to get you riled up, like Kamala and the other chick behind Biden. I want to say it's Nancy Pelosi or someone. I don't know. Or who's the Alaskan chick? Palin. I don't think it was her, but yeah, I think it was Nancy Pelosi. But Kamala and Nancy, I think Pelosi, would just like kind of like awkwardly stand up and start clapping, and then everyone else in the congregation would stand up and start clapping too, and Biden would still be trying to talk, and then it'd be like awkward pause, and then there'd be people like shouting out like build the wall, and it was just an interesting vibe to catch it. But he talked a lot about some good things, mostly COVID and Russia and immigration related. And I'm really hopeful. Sounds like COVID's kind of, now that Russia's the new hot thing, COVID's kind of second page news, which is good. A lot of places starting to open up, ditching the mask mandates, and people are getting vaxxed, and sun's coming out, and hopefully it's not like the last 2 years where every time it gets nice, COVID kind of dies down, and then winter comes and COVID ramps up, and then it's just kind of a roller coaster of emotions for businesses and people and stuff like that. But so I'm pretty hopeful for this summer. It's going to be popping off a little bit, and I'm excited for people, as he said, to get back downtown and get working. I miss going downtown or the hustle and bustle of a city, and thriving restaurants and bars and people and cars and big groups of people that you're like, oh, what's everyone doing in there? And you find out it's like a Britney Spears talent contest or something like that, and you're like, that's cool. So you didn't have that a lot with COVID. So COVID, so it's he talked a lot about that stuff. Would love to hear him, and this is 100% first world problems, but I would love to hear him what he's kind of thinking about them student loans out there. There's a lot of monies out there just sitting around in student loans, and whether you think they should be paid back, or whether you think they should not be paid back by the government, or that's it's a big deal and a big story. But I don't know. It's kind of the people that don't want to pay off, that don't want the government to pay off student loans, didn't have any. And it's easy to say, well, you took the student loans out, you must pay them back. But what about people with bankruptcy? Okay, what about people who die they don't have to pay them back. What about, you know, people who leave the country and never come back, whether they die out of the country or they just move. So my whole thing with the kind of the student loan things, and I'm not trying to get political or anything like that, is I pretty much grew up in a single household, single parent household for the majority, I would say, and the only way to kind of, unless I was a professional sports player or entrepreneur or like a rapper or something like that, all those kind of things failed, so I had to go to school. And yeah, I can make a decent wage working a blue collar job doing this or that. But I went to school for something in the health field, and the only thing with the student loans is like the only way to get the job that I have, which is a hero's job, as they say the last couple of years, essential worker, a healthcare worker, we're heroes and stuff like that. The only way to get that job is to go to school. And we don't get to control anything about, how much school costs, how much the textbooks cost. When I was in school for one semester, it was over, it was between 10 to 12 grand for tuition and lab fees and books and all that stuff. So, that's just that's just getting your foot in the door and saying hello to the teachers. And it was, it was a master's degree. So, it took a lot of time and energy that, and I get it too. There's people out there that, work throughout college and, work 2 jobs and go to school full time, but and that's great, but that shouldn't be the norm to better your life and to educate yourself and to become a hero or some people say an essential worker, especially during this COVID time. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think about student loans, and if you have them, are you planning on paying them back? Are you waiting for that student loan, for Chuck Schumer to drop the hammer and cancel them, someday? Or are you trying to pay them back aggressively? You can always hit the hotline and let me know what you think. The number is 414-214-0372. So yeah, it'd be cool if Biden said anything, and I think he has been canceling some student loans. At least it sounds like it, via Twitter. But they're all kind of like extenuating circumstance type stuff, and I think I don't think canceling all the student loans necessarily fixes the problem, because what happens to the next 10 years or 20 years of people who go to college, and it's even more expensive, and inflation and all that. So selfishly, I'd like student loans to get canceled, but I think there's other ways that could be beneficial to both sides, which would include just having a 0% interest on your loans that you take out for student for college, or having a 10-year minimum payment, and then the rest is forgiven, or setting the income driven at 5% instead of 10%, or whatever it may be. There's ways that you can help without necessarily canceling all the student loans, which I would be in favor for as well. But yeah, let me know what you think. It's kind of a hot topic. If you don't have student loans, that's good. Some people's parents pay for their college. Some people work through college. Some people get scholarships. Some people do athletics. Some people don't go to college. But that's what makes our country great is you have the option, and you really have the option to not pay back your student loans only if you die. So we'll try and maybe get some more options in the future, and maybe he can address that the next State of the Union, the next one he does. So yeah, besides that, just been thinking about Ukraine and stuff, and but let's not keep on getting all political and stuff like that. But so what's going on this weekend? Like I said in the last episode, we're going up to Appleton, Wisconsin. Going to be seeing Brian Callen, and I guess his whoever's coming with him, Jason Ellis. I've heard of him before. He's got a tattooed head, so that'll be interesting. I haven't seen that many people with full heads of tattoos, so that'll be fun. And picked up an extra job here the last couple of weeks. I haven't started yet, so it's a part-time job, so that'll be fun. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to the next couple weeks and stuff like that. So today, trying to do things a little bit different with the hotline, and the only difference really is just me. Okay, but yeah, I think it's we'll get into a few calls. We got quite a few calls today. Actually, we got 5 calls, so we're gonna kind of get into them here, and let's do it. And that's a nice squeaky chair there. All right, first call here. Let's do this. Alrighty.
Hey there, Andy. I've got a few questions for you. I love your podcast. You do a great job. You get better every time.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just going to start out. I wrote a few things down. What kind of quote-unquote vibrator were you utilizing for back pain? My mind goes to a lot of different places when I hear that word. So just wondering, I don't know if it's a great product or you get a good deal on it, where you purchased it. Just let me know.
So let's stop it there. Yeah, so you little got your mind in the gutter a little bit there. It's gutter cleaning season too. So, but yeah, no, I did vibration on my back, and it's actually kind of a family heirloom that's been passed down, kind of from a couple of generations, really. And I don't know where it came from, but it's got, like I said, it's kind of like a family heirloom, sentimental type vibrator that it's got dual heads. So, anytime you can get double, 2 for 1, that's good. But it's your standard, I think it's Panasonic maybe, or I think that's TV, but, or ultrasonic, or I don't know. But it's got 5 speeds on it, and it's just your typical run-of-the-mill early 2000s model of, vibration device, specifically for kind of muscles, more so, I would say. And I'll use that a little bit just to get kind of, it just feels good. I don't know if it actually does anything, but it does increase blood flow. So maybe I'll post a picture of it if you're watching on the YouTube. Let's continue.
What is the one song that when you hear it will freeze you in your tracks and brings back like great memories?
Oh, that's a good question too. The one song that stops me in my tracks and brings back good memories would be, just off the top of my head, would be Jimi Hendrix, the artist, his song Little Wing. Um, Couple of reasons. That was me and my mom. Shout out Peggy. That was our mother son dance, for our wedding, my wedding, and I picked that song because I don't really know why, but when we were growing up, there was above our toilet, um, in the house that I grew up, and there's always only one house that you grow up in. Um, the house that I grew up, I feel like, above the toilet, my mom had a framed picture of the lyrics to that song. So, um, Jimi Hendrix, Little Wing, it just brings me back to the house I grew up in, all the memories there, as well as first dance with my mom. So, good question. Let's hear more.
I think we all have one of those, and I'd like to know what yours is.
Yeah.
Is it pronounced tomato or tomato?
Tomato. And I think that's, I mean, I don't even know what tomato is. I've never heard anybody say it. The only time you hear someone say tomato is when they say, is it tomato or tomato? But no one ever says tomato or tomato. So that kind of makes you kind of think, which one came first?
Curious what your thought is on that. And is the glass half full or half empty? Where do you stand on that?
Oh, the glass is always half full. If there's water in there, you got to drink it because, yeah, if there's water in the glass, you better drink it. A, a, a glass that's half full, um, means you still got some thirst quencher in you, and if we think about what's empty in the glass, then we'll forget about what's still in the glass. You know, if you think about what you don't have, um, you're gonna miss out on what you do have, and that's something that I think about a lot, and something that helps me when I feel down. I guess one of my favorite all-time favorite quotes is the key to knowing, or the key to having it all is knowing that you already do. The key to having it all is knowing that you already do. And thinking of the glass, if it's half full, that's all you need. You just need that kind of, tip it back and finish it off. But if you're always worrying about what you don't have, or what you did have, and that you drank already, you're not going to appreciate what's still left. So that's my advice, at least. I think it's half full, and yeah, I think, yeah, there's plenty to drink still.
Thought. One more question. Asking for a friend. How many cats are too many cats? Just wondering. So keep up the good work. Listen to you every new episode that comes up. You're the bomb. So love you. Bye.
That's nice, and thank you for listening, and I love you too. And how many cats is too many cats? I think if you did Family Feud and that was the final boss question, how many cats is too many cats? I think you got other things to think about. If you have a family, if you've got little kids, if you've got toddlers, if you've got teenagers, I think you can get away with having, you know, a couple cats, maybe two. If you are living by yourself, I think you probably can get away with having 1 to 2. After 2, it gets a little dicey because if it's just you and cats, then, 3 cats is a lot, 4 cats is a lot, 5 cats is a lot, and, there's a crazy cat lady in every fairy tale known to man. Every Simpsons, every Family Guy, every Seinfeld. There's a character that has too many cats, and honestly, probably, too many cats is above 2. Honestly, in my opinion, and but that's just my opinion. Because once you start getting up into the traces and the quattros and the cincos, that's just a lot of cat. And that's, I've been in houses with a lot of cat, and I don't know, it's just not, it gets to a point of diminishing returns where there's too much cat, and yeah, that's just a lot of poop and a lot of litter and stuff like that, and a lot of doing that a lot, and that's just, every time. And cats don't even listen really most of the time, so it's like hanging out with a bunch of kids that are deaf, kind of, but will kind of just do what they want. You can't tell them what to do because they don't know sign language, and they also poop in a box full of sand, and you have to clean it up. So yeah, I think, if there's like a village, you can get away with more cats. But if you're by yourself, let's cap it at maybe 2, okay? Because after that, it gets a little dicey with a lot of cats. So thanks for the call, though. I appreciate it. Those are some good questions. Let's get to the next one here. Right, here we go.
Hi, Andrew. First of all, I'd like to say good show last week. A lot of thought-provoking topics. For this call, what I really want to do is address the scourge of the Midwest that is also known as Menards.
Damn, you coming at Menards right now. Okay. Save big money at Menards. I like to say Menards, as in like my privates.
I hate Menards. And it all starts off with walking through that damn turnstile at the very beginning. Do they think I'm going into an amusement park? Are they trying to keep out people? If you're only so tall, you can't go in. What is the point of the turnstile at the beginning of Menards?
Dude, that is actually a really good point. And a lot of times, when I was a little skinnier, I would kind of scoot through it. And if you turn at the right angle, your body, you can fit through without turning it. And I always thought that was like just a small win throughout the day. And if you ever go there, and it's almost a competition to see if you can squeeze through without making it turn. So try it. Yeah, but it is weird. Like, they could at least have a lady with like one of those clicker things that like punches, counts how many people are coming in, we need jobs in America, so let's get rid of the turnstiles. Carry on.
But as you progress through the turnstile, then you get the second treat, finding what the hell you're trying to look for. Oh, I want some beef jerky? Sure, it's right next to the toilet products, which is down from the magazine rack. Nothing makes sense when you're going in there. You have a better chance of finding a needle in a damn haystack than you do the pack of screws that you came there for in the first place. Third, quality. Go into Menards the next time and look for a brand name. I dare you. Try to find a brand name in Menards. You want to find a DeWalt? You want to find maybe a nice Craftsman tool? Well, buddy, you're out of luck. What you get Master Force. Is Master Force good? Hell no, it isn't good. It's the biggest piece of crap tools and equipment on the face of the planet. They're horrible, cheap, Chinese manufactured junk. You can
Low going at the knees right there. Taking them out at the knees.
not find a brand name of anything in Menards. It's like going to the dollar store and seeing these brands you've never heard of. Going back to your show last week, you're looking for Little Debbie? Well, they have it, but it's probably Small Mary, or it's something that's very close. It's the Aldi's of hardware stores. Lastly, every single damn week it's 11% off. 11%
11% off is a good deal. I'll give them that.
off. If everything's always 11% off, then nothing is. Do you get 11% off at the cash register? Hell no. They make you go get this stupid little slip with your receipt and put on your good old 65-cent or whatever the hell stamps are nowadays and send it in. Wait for a damn year and a half to get your $2.60 rebate. Is it really on sale if you have to get a rebate for everything? It's the biggest pyramid scheme in the Midwest. It forces you to go back to that godforsaken place over and over and over again and keep buying the pyramid scheme's products. They're an MLM that sucks in any sort of rube or dweeb that wants to come and get their hardware on. And if that isn't bad enough, they open at like 4 o'clock in the morning to get all of the people that just can't wait to get in and buy their toilet paper, which is conveniently located right next to the storm doors, because there's this crazy ass.
Okay, so a lot to digest there. And admittedly, I was a fan of Menards until I just heard this. And a lot of good, valid points there. We have Menards here in Milwaukee, and I have been to them. And yeah, I guess I was just blinded by it. And thank you for kind of enlightening me and the audience. But I mean, I will rebuttal a few things. Menards, good that they open early. If you have a project on the weekend, I can't be waiting until 8:39 to start. I got to get there and get my cheap non-brand, screws and appliances, at 6 a.m. instead of waiting until 8 o'clock for the Home Depot to open. So I will say that's a good on them that they open early. But yeah, they do have a lot of bull jive up in there. I never really thought about that. You don't see any of the big hitters, the DeWalt's, the Craftsman's, the Ryobi. You don't see any of those hitters in there. You just kind of get the, it's kind of like the dollar store, And they sell groceries and stuff there, which is kind of, that's honestly kind of weird. And but I have shopped at Menards quite a bit. I think, man, is there anything worse than going to like a store that you don't know where anything is at? Like, we all have our grocery store that we go to, or our Target that we go to. But then if you ever go out of town and you go to a different Target, or you go to a different Walmart and nothing's in the same place as the other store, and it's just like the most frustrating thing in the world. A lot of Menards are like that. The Menards we have here actually has kind of a roof, or not a roof, like a second level for lights and stuff like that. So yeah, the rebate thing is kind of sketchy now that you talk about it too, because everything is always 11% off. And it's like you spend $20 and they're like, oh, make sure to go look at, and there's a giant wall and it has about 85 different like little slips, and you have to look through each little slip to see if it's the right number for your receipt to find your product, and then you have to put it in there and do the rebate. And it's like they get you because it's like you think you're getting 11% off, but they know that you're not going to put the work in. And now I'm kind of switching sides. I'm with you on the Menards thing. But they do sell root beer, Sprecher root beer, which is good root beer. It's brewed here in Milwaukee, so that's some good root beer, and it is sold in Menards. So I'll give them that. But valid points. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm a Lowe's guy myself right now, just because it's close to our house. But yeah, let's take another call.
Hey, Mumbles. This week I need some fashion advice from you. I need to help settle an argument. You could go ask your wife if you need some help on this one. Let's say you have a job interview coming up, or you're going to a wedding and you have a black suit with black pants. Do you think it's okay to wear brown shoes? I think it'd be fine as long as you have a brown belt, but I'm being told otherwise. Let me know. You'll be the final word.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think, and I know this individual, but I think you should do whatever you want. And I think if you wear brown shoes, a brown belt, black, I know it's kind of like the don't wear white after Labor Day thing, but I say go for it. And maybe, if you have like a cool, like a brown cowboy hat, or like I don't know what it's called, like a paperboy hat, one of those hipster hats. You could wear, if it's brown, wear that, because then you kind of have all three levels checked. Or like brown earrings or something like that, because then you got brown, head to toe. But I would just look in the mirror and just be honest with yourself. I don't think you got to go buy different shoes or anything like this, because brown and black aren't too far away from each other. But I think we just need to normalize doing whatever you want to do, and people be okay with it. Unless they say, you need to show up in black shoes and black clothes and a black belt. Unless they say that, I would probably, do it. But if they don't say it, then, I think the first person who wore glasses was like, I don't think these go with my outfit, but he did it anyways, and now everyone wears glasses. So I think we just need more people rocking the brown with the black, and dude, people wear stuff all the time that doesn't match, and that's what makes our country great. And I think we just need to normalize doing whatever you want to do, and people not, giving a heck. And if they do say anything, tell them to go mind their own blanking business, if you know what I mean. Yeah, mind your own business, and let me wear my shoes that I like to wear to this thing that I have to wear black pants to. So it's up to you, honestly. I would do whatever you feel like you should do, and I don't think it's weird. I think we need to stop, stop thinking things are one way, that you have to do things the other way, because that's how we get stuck in time. And that's, I think we should always be, there's new trends all the time. People would never wear a sports bra to the gym, back in the 50s. And now you see chicks in booty shorts and sports bras, so yeah, rock them brown pants or brown shoes and a brown belt, and get you some brown, like a visor or something for up top, maybe. That's my advice. So let's take a next call here. Let's see where we at.
Hey, Mumbles. Hey, I heard you had like the number 5 rated sports podcast on the internet. I thought that was pretty good, so I was hoping some of your more knowledgeable fans, or you could explain something to me. I went to a Blackhawks hockey game last weekend, and there was a fight that broke out between two of the players. As a amateur martial artists.
And a lot of people just say they go to hockey. They say, this is what they say: I like to go to hockey games because of the fights. Little do they know there's an actual sport where people just fight and don't do hockey. Go on.
Self, I was left wondering about what the tactics of that is, and what's the etiquette of that situation, because it seems like there's a lot of things you could do that they just choose not to do, and I don't even get how it's part of the game.
Yeah.
So both guys threw off their gloves immediately, and I was thinking that was weird because they didn't remove their helmets. And
yeah, that is kind of weird that they take off their gloves. You'd think, I don't know, if you're going to take off your gloves, take off your shirt too and fight like a man, Let's get some bare chest out there with some hair, get some ice burn, if it goes to the ground, get some frostbite on them titties.
I thought that if you're going to punch someone with body armor on, you'd want some kind of hand protection.
Yeah.
This fight happened in the third period, and the score was already 9-2. So there's no way that this fight was going to affect the outcome of the game or switch the momentum in either direction.
Sometimes you just got to get out some frustration. Heck it. Might as well fight someone. That's what we want to do throughout the day, the work day sometimes, but you can't just take off your gloves and fight someone at work. But these guys can if they're frustrated.
So it must have just been a personal thing between two of the guys. When they fight, they grab each other's jerseys with one hand and then they try to punch with the other. And I thought that was weird. That's not like a technique that they teach you in Muay Thai or in MMA, but maybe that's just a critical thing that you miss that happens in the real world because you don't compete with a shirt on. What happens if someone grabs it?
Yeah, like I was saying, let's take the shirts off and let's fight. Let's see who wins with their shirt off.
Being in jiu-jitsu, if you follow the current self-defense techniques, if someone grabs your collar, you could just put them in any WWE professional wrestling move that you want to. Then you're also wearing skates, which are like razor blades. So how about a front tie kick?
Dang.
Anyway.
Right to the neck.
Let me know what you think about fights in hockey. Maybe you can explain to the rest of us the unwritten rules. It sure gets the fans excited anyway.
Yeah, like I was saying, there's some people out there that don't even know that hockey is a sport. They just go there because they want to see someone fight. And there's sports that people just fight at without the hockey. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes, you'll be at a hockey game and the ref will let them boys play, ref. And by that mean, they'll let them fight. And sometimes they don't let them fight. I don't know what's the rule in hockey that, okay, I'm going to let these guys fight. And what's the rule that's I'm not going to let these guys fight? Is it a gentleman's agreement? Is it, bad blood? But yeah, you'll see people fight in hockey and they'll grab the jersey. I think what they're trying to do is hold on to something because they're on skates. And if you've ever been on skates, it's pretty difficult to keep your balance. You're pretty much walking on chef knives on your feet. So you're trying to walk with wall cutting stuff. And yeah, I don't know what it'd be if someone knows hockey and can maybe chime in on this call. And if you've ever been in a hockey fight, what was kind of the rules of engagement? What were the stipulations? When's the ref break it up? When's the ref let it go? I mean, you think, if they're going to fight, let them fight till one of them can't fight no more, if you know what I mean, till they tap out. Because then, a lot of times they just kind of grab onto each other and try to keep their balance and spin around and kind of punch each other's shoulder pads. But no one really does any damage, maybe to their hand. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't know the answer. I do like watching fights in hockey, but yeah, I don't know. More sports should incorporate it. Penalty boxes like the NBA and the NFL. Put a couple players in the penalty box. Why not? Hockey does it. You know, let a Giannis and Bobby Portis, fight some dudes, um, and see what happens, and put them in a 5-minute penalty box. It'd be worth it. So, because then every team would just have some dude like straight up, just like a fighter that was on their team and just starts fights with the star player. So, and I bet there's some dudes in hockey that are just the team's fighter. So, good question. Yeah, if you have any insight on what causes hockey fights or what is the rules of engagement, you can go ahead and call the hotline. The number is 414-214-0372. Let's get to this last call here, and surprisingly, it is hockey related. So let's hear it.
Hey, Andrew. Thanks for taking my call. Got a question for you related to hockey. I don't know if you're a big hockey fan or not, but let's talk about the goalie here. Why don't they just take somebody that, like the half-ton boy, somebody that is morbidly obese, throw some pads on him and shove him in front of the hockey net so nobody can score a goal? To me, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know why you couldn't. And the big thing, like if you take the half-ton boy, he's just a boy. He hasn't even become a man yet. Imagine when that happens. So just wanted to see what your thoughts were on, do you think it's feasible for a person with extreme girth to be a hockey goalie, and would it give a team an advantage? Thank you.
That's a good question. I've thought about that a lot. And I think a lot of the goalies actually in the professional and the amateur ranks are kind of what you would call average looking guys. And I always thought, let's put no disrespect, but a large person up in there, because the net and the goal stays one size. So they never make the net bigger, they never make the goal bigger, but you can make you bigger. And get one of them sisters from TLC, the two sisters, Big Sisters or whatever it's called, from TLC, that show. They could fill up a net pretty easy. I mean, what you would do is get just, a big, like my 600-pound live person, put them, just say you can eat whatever you want. Like, we're going to feed you as much as you want, but you have to take yoga every day so that way they could do the splits. Because if they can do the splits with their trunk and their arms, that's pretty much, 85, 90% of the goalie's net. And yeah, that would be my only thing, is just, sign them up, get them up there, get their yoga, make sure they do their yoga, but not work too hard, and keep feeding them a lot of calories. And eventually the goal will be, there'll be nowhere to go. You can't score because it's closed. The goalie's closed. The goal's closed because, and maybe you can target certain areas of the body if there's deficits in the right flank or the left flank of the goal. You could work on some upper body stuff, or inject that stuff. It's not. I don't know if it's steroids, but a lot of Brazilians do it, where it just blows your muscles up, like not an explosion, but it like swells your muscles up. So you'll see like these pictures on Twitter of these guys with these just jacked arms but regular bodies. Looks like SpongeBob when he blows up the anchor arms. Do that on like a huge person, okay, and they're already big, but do it on their hands, like each finger, blow it up, and then their arms, and then their neck, and like their legs and stuff like that. But get them to do yoga every day, a high calorie diet. Yeah, and I think you'd have a pretty formidable goalie. But, it's probably not ethical. It's probably not, the the lifespan of a goalie, probably wouldn't be very high. I don't know if they could match the demands, the physical demands of the sport. And you'd have to have protein shakes. You know how the goalies have the water bottles above the goal. You'd have to have protein shakes and like Cliff Bars and stuff like that up there, so they can make sure they're not losing too much weight during the game. So yeah, I've always thought of that, but I've never thought of it out loud until now. So that's a good question. Good question. Really good questions today on the hotline. You guys really brought the heat today, so I appreciate that. But I'm looking forward to this episode coming out, and looking forward to this weekend. As always, if you want to call and be a part of the show, you can hit the hotline. The number's 414-214-0372. That's 414-214-0372. And you'll go straight to the voicemail or you can leave your message. So hope you guys have a good weekend. Spring's coming, daylight savings coming. We're going to get a lot more sun here soon. And look forward to seeing you guys next week and hearing from you. I appreciate you guys. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, like, comment, rate the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. Every little bit helps. Let's try and keep it going. And I'll see you guys next week.